Hey everybody, I am back. This particular notary tip video is going to be how I quality check all of my documents after I get done signing them. Um, Before I get started, like earlier, please like, comment, subscribe, like, follow, subscribe, and comment. Do all that good stuff so I can know to keep creating videos. If you have any questions, definitely just put something in the chat. I'll be more than happy to try to answer them as they come. But let's begin. So I had a signing earlier today at about 6 Central Time. It's what, 10 now. I've been back home for about an hour. Um, from that signing, it was pretty far away. I didn't mean to take it, but because I took it, I kept it because I've already given back a couple orders this month, so I didn't want to give anything else back. So it's like an hour and a half drive from my house, and I was actually about 30 minutes south of my house. So it was about a 2-hour drive just to get out to this signing. Um, but sometimes it's like that. So let's get started. So this particular signing did have cash to close. This is the check that the signers wrote. I won't show you the front side, but this is the check that they wrote. For the cash to close, it was under $1,500, so they were able to write a check. The next document is the notary closing checklist. I was able to check all the boxes because there were no issues. The next is the post-closing confirmation. Let's see. So now I can put this information in because I did not put it in the beginning. So the tracking number is, and you shouldn't be able to see what I'm writing. And I am going to be sending this off tomorrow morning because it's after final pickup. And I'm just writing down all my personal information on this just in case they need to contact me because there's some issues. Right, and I put the check in the front. Please check here if this was a successful closing with no problem. No issues at the closing table. They signed everything, so I'm able to check all the boxes. So starting at the beginning, the compliance agreement I signed in front of them and I stamped. All right. Survey affidavit, no change. I got the signature and I stamped. Let's see. Oh, this is the T47. Oh no, this is the owner affidavit. They signed, I signed, and stamped. Put my commission expiration, which I did on the earlier video. Obligation of debts and affidavits. They signed, I signed, and stamped. Domestic relations child support enforcement. He said, they said they don't have that issue, but I've always been told for them just to sign it anyway. Don't check anything. And I signed, I signed, I stamped, not they stamped. Okay. Request to close account. They signed and dated. T47 residential real property affidavit. I filled out the information. I signed and stamped. There was one place I know I made an issue, but it was just something I can fix now. The Texas disclosure, Form T64, they signed. Designation of homestead and disclaimer of non-homestead, they signed. I stamped twice, as you can see, because there was a jurat here and a jurat here. It's normally a jurat, one jurat and one acknowledgement, but they have two jurats on there. Let's see. This is the Alta statement. They signed and dated. Closing disclosure. They signed and dated. They signed and dated the second one. The gap indemnity agreement, they signed. It was weird signatures looking at it. They signed, I signed and stamped. Title affidavit was the same thing. It was a bad, whoever formatted this does not know how to format forms on the computer. Sorry for them, but I did what I needed to do. We figured out where each person signed. I stamped. Now we're in the loan documents. And when I'm QCing documents, I just go through really fast. Because for the most part, I'm QCing while I'm doing everything. I go back and check if they dated something. I'll go back and see, make sure they sign. But even I make mistakes. Luckily, I've never sent one out to the title company or to the company when you send the paperwork off. But I do make mistakes. Now I'm on the application. It said for both to initial, so they did both initial this first block. This was the first signer's application, so he signed and dated. Now we're on the second. They both initialed, so that's good. It says on this one for both of them to initial. And then make sure she signed and dated, because I actually don't remember. Yeah, she signed and dated. I do remember, because I don't miss signatures. If they don't sign something, they told me they weren't going to sign. Let me cross my fingers, though, and knock on wood. Okay, the note, I know they both signed and dated. They both signed it because it was a signature only. This was a first for me. I saw on the deed of trust that there was a date, because every other deed of trust I've seen from almost every other company does not have a date on it. So they signed and dated. I stamped on the second page, and I used the term. I told you I didn't write it down because I didn't know how they were going to prove who they were. So remember, before me, I'm gonna scoot it down so you can at least see the blue ink. Before me, my name, Notary Public. On this day, personally appeared the signers known to me. I don't know them, so I left that one blank. Or through, I put valid Texas driver's license. Valid Texas driver's license. I always put the word valid first because we were going through that issue where some states were allowing expired licenses and some weren't. So I've learned that you have to put that word valid right here just to make the companies happy. So I put valid, the state which I'm in, Texas, and driver's license. I just put DL because they know what that is. I've never had an issue with just putting DL. So I put valid TX DL. And then the rest of the statement says to be the person whose name is subscribed to the foregoing instrument and acknowledge to me that he or she executed the same for the purpose and consideration therein expressed. Then I put the date. I signed and stamped. Notice of 3-day right to counsel. They almost signed in the box. I hate when they do that. I always tell them to wait and they still try to sign first, but they did sign and date in the right place, but they did try to almost sign in the box. And there was 2 copies of this and they almost didn't sign the second copy. And I had to be like, no, sign my second copy. The first payment letter, I give them the first payment coupon and tell them keep that. But I do ask them to sign that first payment coupon, sign and date it. This was a transfer of mortgager. There's no signature on this. The next document is the escrow waiver. So they've waived escrow. So they're responsible for their own taxes. So they just had to sign and date this, which they did. This particular package is different. The amortization schedule requires a signature and a date. Even the guy was surprised that it required that. So he signed and dated it. I told him I normally just get the people to initial the very last page of the amortization schedule, just acknowledging it, but never I hardly ever, this may be the 3rd or 4th time in the 7 months I've been doing this that I saw a signature on the amortization schedule. That's how often I do not see it, and I've done over 100 closings. Borrower consent to use tax return information, signed and dated. Borrower certification and authorization, signed and dated. Equal Credit Opportunity Act notice, signed and dated. Errors and omission compliance agreement, signed and dated. Flood hazard determination, signed and dated. Hazard insurance authorization, requirements and disclosure, signed and dated. Notice of furnishing negative information. Make sure you don't use not affirmative, but just make sure you don't use words like they will do something. Always use words like they may when talking about stuff like this. The notice of furnishing negative information, it says in there, we may report information about your account to the credit bureau. So they may do, or they may not do that. So I never use concrete language when I'm doing legal stuff. I always use ambiguous language like they may do it, because it just opens up for liability. So even though, this is a negative thing, if it's a positive thing, I always use the words they may, there's a possibility. I never give the answer for questions where it needs a concrete yes or no. I always say they may, there's a possibility. I never say they will do something, just because I don't want them to come back and be like, hey, Michel said that, they will do this for me. They will give me money. No, Michel didn't. Michel says they may not. I don't know. Call your lender. Call your lender is my phrase, my go-to phrase when they have a question that cannot be answered by the words that are on a sheet that I do not have to interpret. I don't have to interpret we may. I know what we may means. You know what we may means. But we will, I have to interpret what we will mean. So, and that's why I don't say it. And I tell them to call their lender to get clarified. This is a W-9. I'll flip that over quickly just in case we have some creepazoids. Hopefully my camera quality is not that good so they can't zoom in. This is another W-9. They did that correctly. This is a request for tax transcripts, signed and dated. This one, I made sure to get them to sign the attestation box. Some companies the box is already checked. This one was not, so I say, hey, read the statement, sign that attestation box, and then sign above your name. They signed and dated for me. Texas Collateral Protection Insurance Requirements, signed and dated. Compliance agreement, I put the valid Texas DL in there again because it was all that language. Stamped and signed by me, signed by them. Notice of no oral agreement, signed and dated. Notice of penalties for making false and misleading statements. For this one, I only read the title. I don't go deep into any of this because this is too much possibilities. I've never had anyone ask me any questions on it, but I also don't go into a lot of possibility, just things. I just say notice of penalties for making false and misleading statements. Sign it, please. Texas refinance of existing home equity loan to non-home equity loan. So I learned what this was because he said this happens because he's not doing escrow. So he had to get this where he lived. And I was like, okay, I learned something cool. So they signed, I signed, put in my correct language. And then they told me I had neat handwriting, and I was like, could you please call my mom to tell her that I have neat handwriting? Because I'm the smartest of my siblings, but I have the messiest handwriting. And she's never liked my handwriting because everybody else writes like calligraphy and stuff, and I write jumbled, but he said my handwriting was neat. And I blushed a little under this brown skin. The signature name affidavit, these are all the names they found when they run the reports. Signed, dated, stamped, and signed. I did not sign the Patriot Act. That's why. That's what I knew I messed up on. So I need to sign his Patriot Act. And then I totally botched this co-borrower's Patriot Act. So what I need to do is print hers out. Patriot Act is towards the back, 110 pages. There it is. Yeah, Mia. Sorry, I didn't mean to say her name. You did not hear me say her name. Current, actual size. Okay, why is it trying to print like this? Oh, that's why. Choose paper source by PDF size, print. So what happened on the Patriot Act is I just totally put the numbers in the wrong place with the wrong dates and stuff. So I need to print those out. Where's my phones at? Also need to print out their IDs. My cat is going crazy if you do hear a lot of bell ringing right now. This is about the time she does this every night. Every single night. She has destroyed the living room. I'm gonna say she did it. Oh, maybe if I put the right kind of paper in there, it'll print. And then also need to print out their IDs. So, bam, there's the replacement. I'll shred this in a minute. So we're gonna also print out their IDs. Come on, printer, connect. All right. So while we're here, let's fix this Patriot Act. And this is something that doesn't require a notary stamp. Ooh, I wonder what that stain is. That'll be okay. Let me make. Alrighty, so I caught my mistake. What I ended up doing, the mistake I made was I was writing the borrower's ID number on hers, and then I crossed it out, and then I went and made another mistake, and I was like, well, I can't have that many cross outs, so I can go home and fix this. Uh, okay, so that one's good. This is the bad one. Put that there. Put that there. Go ahead and sign my name. And again, like I said, I have to sign out my full name, then write in my full name. Alrighty, and the date is 7/29/2021. All right. So that's perfect. So now it's back to being good. Affidavit of occupancy, signed, stamped, tax record information sheet. There was nothing to add here. So they'll sign this. This was the COVID attestation. They didn't check that box, but they said nothing had changed. So just went ahead and checked it for them. Their insurance, I had them initial the 3 pages for insurance. So that was all good. Now we're in the attorney documents. Okay, they didn't have to update their address, so we didn't have to do anything on that document. Okay, there was nothing on here. All right, so this was the privacy notices. They signed that one. Privacy notice again, they signed that. Representation notice, signed and dated that. Release a lien, there's nothing for them to do on that. That's a document for them to notarize. Renewal and extension rider. Affidavit regarding refinance of an existing home equity loan to a non-home equity loan. Signed date, I stamped. It looks beautiful. The last document in here is mineral rights. They actually said that they already know they don't own the mineral rights to their property because the pipes are already under the ground for the oil where they live out in the country. I laughed at that. I was like, that's so funny. But that's all signed. So my documents are good. They're good to be scanned. So I'm going to go ahead and set my scanner up. I have the Brother ADS 1700 scanner. I'm gonna have to do it this way because I don't think that cord is going to reach. Again, this is the Brother ADS 1700 scanner. I did a review video on this. Actually, I think the review video on this was my very first notary video. I'm also going to share my screen so you can see what it looks like on my screen. Remember, I have to shred this. This is the Bad Patriot Act for the second borrower. Screen 2. Share. There we go. So you still see me. Boom. And you see the screen. So let's go ahead and open up the Brother client. The Brother I print, I scan. I'm actually finna buy a Brother printer so I can just have all three brands because I'm bougie like that, I guess. But let's see. Is the scanner connected via Wi-Fi? The Wi-Fi hasn't connected yet. So let's see. Just waiting on the Wi-Fi. So we can scan. I shouldn't have to set nothing up. Should be connected. Can we scan, please? Oh my gosh. This is a first, of course, that it does not automatically connect. My internet be acting so funny acting sometimes. And I pay a lot of money for the internet too. That's what I was trying to do. All right, I'm just trying to connect. Because we were just working earlier, because I actually scanned something in earlier today. Oh my God, this is so difficult. Sorry about that. The scanner is not acting correctly, but I know it's my internet because it won't even let my TV connect. The network key is incorrect. Confirm the network key and try again. Oh, come on. Why would you be doing this right now, internet? Of course, there would be technical difficulties when I'm trying to do a quick video. I'm just going to turn it on, turn it off. Shutting down. Now let's turn it back on. Sorry for that yawn. Just connect to the Wi-Fi, please. Stop tripping. Because I can't restart the Wi-Fi because I'm on live. I think that was the issue, that I didn't capitalize the first letter. Oh my gosh. This Wi-Fi issue that I'm having is crazy. Okay, I'm about to run upstairs to try and do this. I'll be back. All right, it connected. All right. So now you will see me scan all these darn papers. Oh. Well, the first thing we want to do is actually put the paperwork in there. So let's scan this first page. I forget, checks are so finicky. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Okay. The scan does the second page. I'm cool with that. All right, so we got that scanned in. Now let's start scanning actual documents. So you can't do too many sheets at one time with this scanner. This again is the ADS 1700. I'm going to hit add pages and then scan. What I like to do is just add as many as I can without stopping it. It just comes out so perfectly. And it's so blurry. To make sure you're scanning properly, always do it down and upside down as well. All right, so it's now scanning the better size documents. I mean, legal size. We're up to 38 pages. I don't even know how long I've been scanning. I always get overzealous when I'm scanning, so I'm trying not to do that. Because if it jams, you have to start all the way over. And if you put too many pages in there at one time, it'll eat multiple pages. So, okay, stopped. Let's see what happened. Why did it stop? I think it's just catching up with itself. Oh, I've never seen it do that before. Of course, it does all the new stuff when I decide to go live. I don't know if you can hear me. But it put the mic back on, but it decides to do all the new stuff when I decide to go live. All right, so it's about 70 pages scanned. It's moving fairly slow. All right, this is a first for me because it's normally instantaneous where it finished scanning, but we'll see. All right, so there go the first 77 pages of, I think I said this was like a 160 page package. So there go the first 77 pages. And I don't know if you can tell just from the screen. I'm gonna keep it small like that because I don't want creepazoids to try to steal their information. But you can see that it does have, this is letter size and this is legal size. It's skinnier. So it's two different things. So let's go back to scanning. And just to continue scanning in the same PDF file, you just hit, I mean, I did it earlier without saying nothing, but you just hit add pages. And it says, do you want to scan additional pages? And you just hit scan. Scan. And it's back to scanning. Two more pages and I'll be more comfortable. I think it's my internet that's causing this to happen. It might be because I'm on StreamYards right now and I'm probably using a whole bunch of data. I don't know. The world may never know. All right, so it's catching up again. I really do think that it's because I'm streaming that this is happening. But we're just scanning. Normally, this will take about 4 to 5 minutes to scan a 160 to a 200 page package. Yeah, I know I did way more than 13 documents. I'm going to get a new scanner one day, probably within the next 6 months. And I'm also going to get a new printer, a brother printer, because this HP ink costs way too much money. It cuts into my profits. So, yeah. Let's see. It's still waiting. This is not good for business. It does not do this, you guys. I think it's because I'm streaming right now that it's doing this. Because normally, like I said, it's instantaneous from the scanner to the computer. Here we go. This might be too thick, but we'll see. It's catching up yet again. We're at 102 pages scanned in total, 25 in this. Or I don't know how many in this one while it's catching up. Maybe it can only do 30 pages at a time on this slow network. My cat is sleepy, so she acts like a brat. I'm still waiting for the scanner to finish doing whatever it's doing. Embarrassing me right now because it's a fast scanner, but it is moving incredibly slow right now. So let's see. Let me see if my hypothesis is correct too, because it stopped loading at 25. It's saying we're at 111. It was at 102 earlier. That's 10 pages. Yeah, I won't have to ever do this again because I'm creating this video, but it is very aggravating that it's doing this right now. Adding some more paper. Just be careful with the amount of paper, maybe about 6 to 7 sheets at a time. Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason to why it's doing this right now. But it's scanner. Normally I can do it seamlessly, do a whole 200-page package and maybe 1 or 2 pass-throughs without having to hit add pages. But I'm thinking because I'm on this StreamYards using a lot of bandwidth right now, that the scanner is not prioritized on the network. But I have to bring you quality video and quality content, even though you're looking at white paper and a screen you can't read. But this scanner, the Brother ADS 1700W, could do, I think it's at about 15 pages at one time. I always do a little bit less, but I have figured out how I can still do it in 1 or 2 pass-throughs. All right. Let 2 more go through. All right, and that's the last batch of papers. So let those finish. Probably be on here for about 3 more minutes. All right, the last page is scanning. All right, so 138 pages. Okay. Maybe, I think some of the deed of trust papers went in there double, so that's fine. But this is the package right here. Put it back in the folder. Folder goes to the outbox so I can take it in the morning. I'll let the scanner finish loading up all the pages. Okay, so yeah, it's coming up to the number because I thought there was about 160 pages. So I can't do quick math. So let's see how many pages it gives me. This is exciting because it never does this. So just exciting to see it count up the papers, the pages. I think 154. So 154 pages. So yeah, I was off by like 6. So that was me. So that was just me showing you how I quality check and scan back my documents when it is required to do a scan back. I am going to put my Brother ADS 1700, which I will put a link in the description after I finish this video. Scanner, it was very cheap for scanners because scanners are expensive. But all in all, just to summarize, I quality checked my package that I got today. I then did a scan back, and that was it. And the process takes about 20 minutes to do for one package. But that's all for tonight because I have printing to do for tomorrow. Thank you again so much for watching. Like, follow, subscribe, and comment to let me know you like my stuff. Let me know you don't like it. And have a great day. Deuces.